Hello adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have something kind of fun for you. A lot of you have been asking for some tips on how to pack whenever you're getting ready to embark upon your journey of van life. Now, I've been traveling for about 8 years. I started out tent camping and traveling in a very small car, and then I moved into the van, which was like a luxury apartment on wheels because there was so much more space. But even with that, there are some times that I think, oh my goodness, this is kind of difficult for me to be able to fit the things that I would like to fit, especially whenever I'm gone for months on end and I want to be able to have a variety of different seasons of clothing or things that look nicer and things that are more designed for athleisure. So today I'm going to be sharing some of my tips with you guys, and then also something pretty interesting that I found that could be handy for us all. So before we get started on this though, let's talk about some of my favorite tips for packing. My first method is to roll and band my clothes. I've tried a variety of different kinds of clothing items throughout time and also folding techniques. I've used t-shirt folders, I've used rolling without bands, and I've used rolling with bands. This by far is the best way to keep your things more compact, and it ends up taking up less room. Not to mention, if you end up grabbing into your clothing and pulling something else, you don't end up unraveling the thing that's beside it. So this has been very handy. Now for this particular fold, I have a regular ponytail holder that you can find in packs of 20 at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. This doubles because not only can I use it for my shirts where it's a nice snug fit, but also I can use these for my hair if I need to. And that's been pretty handy. Now I've also used rubber bands. I will say the difference between the rubber bands and the ponytail holders is the tightness. The tightness and the durability of them with the ponytail holders is just so much more strong. So I highly recommend, if you want to have something a little bit more durable, picking up some of these just hair bands. It's very easy and it's a great way to stay organized. To the naked eye, this might just look like a pillow that I have in my van. However, this is actually a storage method that I use in the van to create more meaningful storage for me when it comes to clothes. I like a more firm pillow. And so if I have a more firm pillow, that means that I could put clothing items inside of it and it doesn't have to have the squishiness and softness. For example, this is the consistency of the pillow that was previously in here. It's a very nice pillow, but this is the consistency of the pillow with clothing items in it. I prefer a firm pillow because it helps with my sciatica whenever I sleep. I can use these to prop up and I have more structure and support. However, this is a great pillow, but whenever I take this out to get that structure and support, I can use it as a storage device for items including sweatshirts, sweaters, more blankets, bulkier items, and it allows me to have a way to not have everything where it has to be in the van front and center where I see it, but more so that it can be a functional, useful item. Last but not least, packing cubes. Packing cubes are something that typically people want to use whenever they're trying to pack a suitcase to keep all their items together so they can just pull them out using a handle and place them into their hotel or be able to change them out more easily. But during van life, these are actually super handy too because you can use them for a variety of things, not just clothing related. I have several kinds of packing cubes. These are regular style packing cubes. They have one zipper and it just allows you to keep everything organized. However, they also have compression cubes which have a double zip. After you zip up the first zip, you then zip down another one which squishes them down and really holds them into place and takes up about half the amount of room of a standard packing cube. Packing cubes are great because you can unzip them and then open them, and then you have all of your items inside, and instead of them going all over the place, they keep together pretty well. You can see here that in this particular packing cube, I have 4 pairs of pants, 2 shirts, and a scarf in a very small amount of space. And again, this just zips up and then I can put it just about anywhere. So if you have a more minimal wardrobe or you have stackable shelves, these are great because they allow you to get everything nice and organized. These were a game changer whenever I was traveling and car camping because I had such a limited space that I could use these to put all of my things in, and then as I would unfold things, it would get smaller and smaller and I could move things around, or I could take these into the laundry mat and then immediately repack them. Everything is in order. I just take it back out to the space and then put it in and we're good to go. So as you can see, many of those things are super handy to me, and they're things that I have developed and continued to try over the years that make life a little bit easier. Now, whenever I was packing in a very tiny car, one of my favorite things was the packing cubes. Packing cubes allowed me to organize the trunk space and then just pull things out whenever I was traveling so that I could kind of understand, oh, space in here is very limited. So the packing cubes became my best friend, especially the compression ones. If you find the compression ones, they are so handy. A lot of people think that packing cubes are designed mostly for those who fly, but no, you can use them in van life, certainly. Now, as I continued to progress, however, you did see that I started using the pillows, and then I started to roll things. And each of these steps has been a step toward getting me closer to the ultimate ability to stay organized. But one of the concerns that a lot of people had, and I had as well in some capacities, was the fact that by rolling the items, I would end up with a little band mark on them. Now, I've had some clothes that I haven't even taken on the road because I had no way to get the wrinkles out, even with wrinkle release. And so it's been kind of one of those things that I've been like, oh no, what do I do? And I think I finally figured that out. So for anything that is in my fancy clothes section, normally I try to make sure the materials are things that I could either spray wrinkle release on and shake and the wrinkles come out, or is something that I could just hang for a little while in the heat and the wrinkles would fall out. However, that limits the amount of materials that I can use. For example, anything that is like a linen material does not work well with that system. It crinkles too much. And so I was thinking if we could find a handheld steamer that would fit in the van, I could possibly use that. And I was very fortunate to be recently browsing through a bin store, and it was like I had thought of it, and then magically I found this one. This is something that's available on Amazon. This was from our Amazon returns. So we're gonna test it out today and see if this will work in the van. And if it does, this is something that with just a power station, I should be able to run and be able to facilitate no more wrinkles. Now this is the Pilardo unit, and this is supposed to pull about 900 watts, which seems like a lot. So we're gonna test it to see. We're going to get it opened up, and the first thing out of the box is our little instruction manual telling us a little bit more about it. It also has a small carrying case inside of this to protect the unit. We then have the bristle brush, which I probably honestly won't take with me. This was the only part that was of concern to me because it got packed sideways into the box, and so it kind of dented the bristles. I'm not worried about this. We're gonna move right into the next portion, which is the steamer itself, and it's wrapped up. It says that it's a 120 circuit only, which means that I should be able to use this on my power station, but that's why we're gonna try it. On the buttons, you have a steam and a stop on here, and it does have a standard AC plug on it. In order for me to use this, I'm going to try to read through the instructions really quickly, figure out what I need to do, and then we're going to do a test steam real quick. This is the little reserve. It comes right off. It has some magnets, and it also has a little puzzle piece down at the bottom. And then up at the top, we have the area that we're going to be able to fill, like so. Now it goes back into the steamer and fits in there again in the puzzle piece section. And for today's demo, I'm going to be using the Jackery V2 because this is the power station I will be taking with me on the road. I have it fully charged at 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in, and we're going to turn it on and see if we can't get it to steam a little bit. I will say this, the cord on this is super long. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out. Okay, and now we turn on the AC and we turn on the steamer, in theory. Not sure if we're supposed to have any lights or anything. It is pulling. 873 watts. Okay, and now we're going to turn it onto the steam section. So it should show us whenever it starts steaming. And I'm gonna stay away from it because this is a very hot surface once it starts to steam. Oh, wow. Okay, so it just made a little bit of a sound after it got to temp. It's no longer pulling any watts. It is spitting a little bit though. It's steaming away. Okay. There it goes. It starts to pull again, so it neutralizes. Okay, we're gonna put it on stop for a minute and see what happens. Okay, it stops emitting the steam pretty quickly actually, and then goes back down to 0. So now it's time for us to see if this will work on clothes. Now this is the fun part. If this works, this could make a whole new level of me being able to get dressed on the road, and I'm very excited about that. I have been looking forward to potentially being able to take some overalls that I have with me, as well as some different shirts that normally I wouldn't be able to take just because, well, they would look too wrinkled, and the wrinkle release does not unfortunately work for them. So I'm going to get a hanger with some item that I'm not taking with me probably, that's made of the same material as some of the things I would like to take with me, and we're gonna see if it works. Okay, you can see on these overalls right here, they're very crinkly, and this is what I was talking about. The material gets super crinkly. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to try to put it on steam and then just pull out and start to go over this and see if we can get those wrinkles to release. It's gonna spit a little bit, I think, but like, I think I'm okay with that. Oh, this is working. This is definitely working. I have this power station behind me, so I don't want it to get too warm. So I'm just gonna be very careful here, but I can see some of the wrinkles coming out. This is gonna be something that takes a minute whenever I do use it. So it's not something that I'm gonna be able to move through super rapidly, but this gives me an idea. Now, is this something I'm going to want to use every single day? For regular t-shirts, probably not. But if I can get it to work, you can already see the difference in where that released because it was as crinkled as this. So I'm going to work on this for just a moment to see if we can get some more of these out. We'll see if this will be lucrative. I think I'm gonna do this side and let you guys see this side just plain. I would just like to point out the difference between the right side and the left side. They looked exactly like the left side earlier, and if I continued going on this, I could get it perfect. However, that is incredible. That is huge on the difference. And it did spit a little bit, but it's already drying out. So I think this is definitely something that will work on the road. So now the question is, how much power did it take just to do this section? Well, here we go to find out. We lost about 4% doing a leg. So that's not terrible. I could definitely afford to lose 4%. This is a handheld unit. I used about half of the water that I had put in there for that leg. So I would have to fill it up a few times, probably to do an entire overall set. However, for a shirt or something like that, we're looking at a similar distance to what I did here. And again, I know it's not perfect. Part of it is that I'm leaning it up against my oven here, so I have a handle that continues to kind of cut into it. But for the most part, I would definitely rather wear this than that. I think I'm gonna make sure that I take this with me. It's a big yes. So if you're interested in not having weird clothes when it comes to like your nicer clothes, this unit right here definitely will do the trick. It is very easy to use on a 1,000-watt unit. It doesn't take all of your power. It does a good job, and it definitely pulled out so many of the wrinkles. So I think the best thing that I can do now is figure out how I'm going to hang my things in order to do this, be it a hanger or clips or something, so that I can get this completely done. The other thing that I want to try to do is see if I could do this outside of my van versus inside my van, because even though I could get my things ready in the morning inside the van, that's going to add a lot of heat and moisture, and it's already pretty warm outside because it's summertime. I'm gonna put some thought into that, but I think this is a great way to kind of round out our packing and just something for you guys to consider. If this is something that you're interested in, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can find this particular steamer, because again, I know it will work on a 1,000-watt power station. If it's not something that you're interested in, that's okay too. I hope the other packing tips are handy to you guys. And as always, remember, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time. Till next time, bye.